Some say Chinese is one of the most difficult languages in the world, and learning it is almost impossible.
So learning Chinese, the most difficult thing.
非常非常非常非常非常难.
So I'm sort of tone deaf. I can't really hear them.
I think the cultural mindset is the biggest complication for
The grammar.
知吃思诗都还难
It's just complicated so much.
Only because you're not learning it in the right way. Why not try Takeaway Chinese, where you can take some Chinese away and experience progress day by day. Takeaway Chinese, we will promise you a difference.
你好，欢迎收听随行汉语 Welcome to Takeaway Chinese. I'm Niu Honglin. Join me today, the handsome and hilarious Carl Benjaminson. Hi,
Hello.
Carl.
How are you doing?
I'm very well. I was sick a previous week, but now I'm bounced back, and I didn't take any sick leaves.
So you maybe weren't all that sick?
Not very much, and I am a Chinese girl, and there is a legend saying that Chinese people are very hardworking and we don't take vacations, we don't spend holidays. That's not true, but the fact is, if it's not a very serious condition, if it's not very much sick that you cannot get out of the house, Chinese people like to go to work despite their, little under the weather condition.
Yes, and I think there's really two kinds of sicknesses in China. There's the type where you just need to drink some more hot water, maybe eat some more and sleep, or the type where you're terribly, terribly sick and you need to go to the hospital. There's no real
in between.
There's no in between. You're either really okay or you're possibly dying.
Well, nevertheless, today we are going to learn how to ask for a sick leave. If you're interested in Chinese culture and you want to get to grips with the Chinese language, then this is the show for you. Stick with us for 30 minutes a day and you soon see the rewards. And for more fun Chinese learning, follow our Facebook page, CRI Learn Chinese, to watch many fun videos and live streams. But now, let's provide you with some free Chinese for takeaway. 老板，因为我生病了，所以想请2天假。没问题，你好好休息，早日康复。虽然我不来上班，但是您有事儿还是可以联系我，除非有特殊情况，我是不会打扰你的。
Now, this is a little bit of a long dialogue, I think, compared to some of the other ones, but I think we've covered almost all of the words in previous episodes.
Yes, and that is why the words are not, let's say, the learning points, the learning focus of today. Actually, today we are trying to learn some conjunction words, because a lot of our dear listeners and friends ask about the Chinese sentence structure and the little grammar points. So that will be today's theme in a way.
So we're talking words like and or the or but or if.
Exactly. So for the first sentence, 老板，因为我生病了，所以想请2天假。
Boss, I'd like to take 2 days off work because I'm sick.
So 老板
So boss. 因为 so because 我生病了 I am sick. 所以 so therefore 想请 I'd like to ask you for 2天假 2 days off.
Exactly. So if there's any vocabulary, I'm pretty sure it's 老板, that's boss, 生病, that's sick, and 请假, ask for a leave. And 请假 is a funny one because you can use it to 请病假, so ask for a sick leave. 请事假, ask for a leave because you have some errands to run. And 请年假, ask for your annual leave. Even though it's your annual leave, you still need to ask your boss so that he or she can arrange your work or missions to other people. So that's the kind of ways you can use 请假.
So 请事假, is that things like if a relative is sick or you need to take your pet to the vet or something? So it's different from annual leave.
It depends on what's your company's regulation or policies.
Okay.
Some companies would allow you to 请事假 to take care of your pet. Some company would only allow you to 请事假 to take care of your parents.
Okay.
So that's a little bit tricky. And here, 因为所以 is the sentence structure for today. At least the first one. So in English, you'd never put because and so together. You only use one of them.
Yes.
In one sentence. And in Chinese, actually, it is recommended to use both. And let's say if you're in primary school and you are learning this sentence structure, actually the teacher would give you a sentence, and if the 所以 is missing or the 因为 is missing, you are supposed to be able to put them back in place. And the common practice is just to 因为 plus one sentence and 所以 plus the result sentence. So not very hard. 因为所以 So 因为我饿了，所以我要吃饭。
So because I'm hungry, I'm going to go and eat something.
因为我累了，所以我不想工作了。
Because I'm tired, I just really can't work.
Exactly. See, that's the sentences I use a lot. That's how you use 因为所以. And then part B said, 没问题，你好好休息，早日康复。
No problem. Have a good rest and get well soon.
For this sentence, 没问题，
So no problem.
你
You.
And we got this nice four-character words that's very common in the Chinese language. I mean, four-character words. And people like to put them together, use them in pairs. So here, 好好休息，早日康复。
So have a good rest and get well soon.
Exactly. This is, you can consider them as set phrase. So whenever you meet someone who's a little bit under the weather, you can always say 好好休息，早日康复。
So I think the first bit's pretty self-explanatory. So 早日康复. So 康复 is like to get well or to recuperate or recover.
You can understand 康 as 健康，复 as 恢复。So 健康 would be healthy. 恢复 would be, well, actually, 康复. Yes, 复 would be return to. So return to the healthy state.
Okay.
早日康复, so get well soon. And then part A, being a very diligent worker, said, 虽然我不来上班，但是您有事还是可以联系我。
Although I'm not coming to work, you can still contact me if something comes up.
Yes.
This gives the clue that they're not really that sick.
No, they're just staying at home and maybe, you know, taking a little bit of a rest, but still be able to at least to reply to the messages. And here, 我不来上班.
So although I'm not coming to work.
I'm not coming to work. I actually have people asking me about 来 and 去.
Yes, this is literally what I was about to ask you, because it feels, from an English speaker's perspective, it feels a bit more like you'd say 不去上班. So because I'm not going to work.
Yes, and actually you can use both.
Okay.
So I'm not going to work, I'm not coming to work. It's actually fine for both. But the general understanding or general practice here is there are two rules. One, you're choosing from 来 and 去. If you translate them 来 as come, 去 as go, you can understand it this way. The first rule is, if you're talking about the place that you are at right now, use 来. So, 你明天来吗? Are you coming tomorrow? 你明天来书店吗? Are you coming to the bookstore tomorrow? It means you guys are right now at the bookstore having this conversation. And the second rule is funny because 来 means go to the place that you're at. 去 means go to the place that the other person or other party is at, right? This means 来 is a little bit closer to yourself, and 去 is a little bit more like distanced.
So that kind of makes sense in English as well. So if you were talking to your boss in the office saying, I'm not going to come in the next 2 days, you would use 来. But if you're calling your boss to say, I'm not going to come in the next 2 days, then you would use 去.
Exactly. So 来 is a little bit more like close, showing that you or the other person has a closer relationship in a way. That depends on different situations. But in this sentence, actually, I think this person is having the conversation with the boss in the boss's office. Maybe he's going to take some days leave to visit the hospital and he's asking for a sick leave on the spot, and that is why he used 来. So, 虽然我不来上班，但是您有事 if you have something, 还是可以联系我.
So you can still contact me. It's okay to contact me if something comes up.
Yes, so 可以 would be okay too. And 联系我 is contact me. And here another pair of conjunction words showed up. 虽然但是
So although something, but or therefore, or
Yes.
still something else.
Same kind of rule. You use both 虽然 and 但是 in the same sentence, and you use 虽然 plus the plus sentence A, and you use 但是 plus sentence B. That's basically how you do it. And then part B said, 除非有特殊情况，我是不会打扰你的。
I won't bother you unless something special comes up or something important comes up.
And here, 除非, have you ever encountered 除非 before?
I don't think so. Or if I have, it's not as common as the other examples of conjunctions.
So 除非 is unless. So this is interesting because in English you always put unless at the latter half of the sentence, right?
Yes, so it's something happens unless the exception.
Yeah, but in Chinese you can actually put it in front, in the first half of the sentence. You can do it in the English order as well. You can put 除非 as the second half of the sentence, but you can also put it in front. 除非有特殊情况.
So unless there's a special circumstance or a special situation.
This is very, very useful because when you give answer or reply to anybody, you can always say 除非有特殊情况，我一定会. So unless there's something special happening, I would very much like to do something, or I will do something, I will definitely do something. This is like leaving a little tiny back door to your promise.
Yes.
So that's very useful. 除非有特殊情况. Remember that, very useful. 除非有特殊情况. And here, 我是不会打扰你的.
So unless, so I won't bother you.
打扰.
打扰.
打扰 would be bother or interrupt or, well, just that.
Annoy.
Annoy, trouble, not very good word.
Yeah.
我是不会打扰你的. I won't bother you. So, 除非有特殊情况，我是不会打扰你的. Like I said, this person is a diligent worker, saying that even though I'm not working that day, if you have something, you can still come and find me.
And you've got a very good boss who knows this person is not necessarily talking about going to the doctor, so they may be not that sick, and so they're happy to deal with the occasional email.
Exactly. So, any further questions?
I think that's about it for now. I imagine we're going to go into those grammar points a little bit more, but shall we go through the sentences?
Of course.
How about I'll be the one slacking off and asking for some time off.
Okay.
老板，因为我生病了，所以想请2000假。
没问题，你好好休息，早日康复。
虽然我不来上班，但是你有事还是可以联系我。
除非有特殊情况，我是不会打扰你的。I gotta say, your Chinese pronunciation is getting better and better, and I really sincerely hope that's the case for our friends who's at the other side of this show as well. You are listening to Takeaway Chinese with myself, Niu Honglin, and Carl. We would love to hear from you. Send us your thoughts via email to learnchinese@cri.com.cn. Coming up next, let's learn some common conjunction words and discuss some far-fetched, ridiculous, but funny enough reasons for taking days off from work. Don't go away, so you will take some Chinese away. Welcome back to Takeaway Chinese. I'm Niu Honglin, joined by Carl. So, Carl, how many conjunction words in Chinese do you know? Or how many pairs of? I can put it that way because Chinese conjunction words like to show up in pairs.
To be honest, probably it's a hard question to answer because I don't. To be honest, in my day-to-day
You don't
life,
count.
I don't stop to think about how many conjunctions I know in
Fair.
in English or in Chinese.
That's fair. So, I think for the basic ones, we have the and or. That's the easiest but very useful logic. You gotta put things together sometimes. You gotta choose between different things.
So there'll be 和 or 跟.
和 or 跟. 和 or 跟 actually means and. So let's start there. To express and with 和, you have the first noun plus 和 or 跟 plus the second noun. So 我和你
So, me and you.
That's an easy one, 我和你 And if you're trying to express the idea of or, that'll be
So, 还是
还是 or 或者
或者
So if we're talking about 还是 I can say, for example, 你要喝茶还是咖啡
So, would you like tea or would you like coffee?
Or I can ask, 喝茶或者喝咖啡
Would you like tea or coffee?
Exactly. So you can see, actually, when there is a choice to make, you can provide both options. And the option can either be a noun or a sentence or a phrase, and you link them with 或者 or 还是.
So it's a pretty straightforward one again. So it's
Exactly.
A or B.
A or B. And for 和, it's the same thing. A can be a noun, can be a phrase, can be a full sentence. So it's B. So, and the funny thing about 或者 and 还是 is that there's actually a little bit of a difference between those two words, even though they can both be translated to or. And the difference is this. So, if you're using the word 或者, you need to choose. So, there is a choice to make. For example, if you say 我打算明天或者后天去北京 It means I'd like to go to Beijing tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. You have to choose between those two. You can't really do both.
Okay, so it's a very set, definitive choice.
Yes. And another possibility is that you use 或者 to mean like similar things. So you're making a list. You use 或者 to indicate that you're making a list. For example, 我要喝茶或者咖啡或者水.
So would you like tea or coffee or water?
Yeah, it's like I can have this or this or this. It does not really matter. They are a list of things that I can choose from. There's a list.
So you can't have like 咖啡还是茶还是水.
If you're saying that, it actually means I don't know what you are going to choose. And I'm giving you the choice. For example, if I say 我不知道你是明天去还是后天去 I don't know if you're going tomorrow or the day after tomorrow.
Okay.
In this occasion, you cannot use 或者. So 我不知道 If I don't know, I need to use 还是. So that's some general differences between 或者 and 还是. But again, Chinese is an amazing language. If you use them wrong, people would still understand you. So just if this is your first time knowing these two words, just remember it as 或者还是 mean or. Or. And the second pair would be but, although and but. So for although and but, in the conversation we've had 虽然 and 但是 already. 虽然但是 虽然 is though, although. 但是 however, but, or yet. And here's an example. 我喜欢他，但是他不喜欢我。
So I like him although he doesn't like me.
I like him, but he doesn't
But
like
he
me.
doesn't like me.
Yeah. So, 但是 And have you ever encountered 可是?
Quite possibly.
可是 and 但是 are similar, but I think some people would say that 可是 the tone of 可是 is a little bit softer than 但是.
So can you give me an example of where you'd use 可是 instead?
It's kind of like 可是 is a U-turn, whereas 但是 is a V-turn. The
Right.
angle is a little bit sharper.
So it's a very clear difference between the first thing and the second thing.
Yeah. 可是但是而是 they are but. They mean but.
Yep.
And when you use the sentence, you put sentence A plus any of these three words plus second B.
Okay.
So, 我喜欢他，但是他不喜欢我. I like him, but he doesn't like me. Back. 我喜欢他，可是他不喜欢我.
So it's the same meaning, but it's a bit less intense.
Yes, it's the same meaning, but
Yeah.
the tone is softer. Yes, that's although and but. And we have 虽然 in it. If you use 虽然, you can always say 虽然我喜欢他，但是他不喜欢我.
So although something, but something else.
Yes. And then we have because and so, or because and therefore.
So 因为 and 所以。
因为 and 所以。Actually, it's 因为。
因为。
Fourth tone. 因为. So because 因为 and therefore 所以. So the full pattern 因为所以 is used to clearly indicate cause and effect. They could be thought of as equating to since something happened, so another thing happened. It sounds weird to use both since and so in an English sentence, but it is how you do it in a Chinese sentence. And for example, in today's conversation, you say 因为我病了，所以想请假. It's like direct reason that the second thing happened.
因为 and 所以 they've got to be closely related things, so you don't want to be too abstract between the two parts of the sentence.
That's true. And then the not last one. Well, actually, last one we have is 除非, like in the sentence unless. So unless 除非 can be used as a conjunction. It means that unless you use the sentence structure unless sentence A, otherwise sentence B.
Okay.
So, for example, 我不去，除非你也去。
So I won't go unless he goes.
Unless you go.
Unless you go. Sorry.
Yes, 我不去，除非你也去。I'm not going unless you go. Or 我不说，除非你答应我不生气。
I won't tell you unless you promise me you won't get upset.
Yeah, that's a common sentence.
Maybe for you.
All right, so that's unless, and you can see that you put 除非 plus the condition, and you got a result or a fact in front of or after the 除非 sentence. That's how you do it. And there's also, you can also put 否则 in the result, well, in front of the result sentence if you want to. 否则 means otherwise.
Okay.
否则 So 除非你听我的，否则我不会帮你。
It's a useful one for a teacher. Unless you listen to me, I won't help you.
Yes. So 你听我的 you listen to me. Unless 除非你听我的 unless you listen to me. 否则 otherwise 我不会帮你 I won't help you. So we got several pairs. We got the easiest one, which is the and or. For and, you have 和 and 跟. For or, you have 还是或者. And then we got the although and but. That'll be 虽然但是 and because and so 因为所以 and unless 除非.
So if you're one of those people who've been asking us for a while to teach you some basic grammar, if you just learn these sentence structures, even if you don't learn 除非, which is useful but not essential, if you just learn the other three, that will get you a really long way in Chinese conversation.
Yes. So that's the conjunction words. And I also promised to give you guys some funny reasons to ask for a leave. So 请假的理由is reason. 请假理由 would be the reason to ask for some days off. What do you think can be a really funny reason? Can you think of a ridiculous reason?
See, because Australia is a really sports crazy country, where some people will ask for a day off after, say, the grand final. If their team's won the big football match of the year, then they'll ask for a day off.
Actually, I've read a very fun reason to quit the job. And that's very famous in China, in the Chinese society nowadays. It said, 世界这么大，我想去看看.
What does that mean?
The world is really big. I'd like to go and see it. So I'm quitting my job, and that's my reason. 世界那么大，我想去看看.
That sounds like a terrible excuse to quit your job. Don't do that.
You can also use it as a reason to, ask for leave if you want to quit your job. You say, I'm not going to work for the next few days because I want to go and explore the world. That's a funny reason. And here are some reasons that I found from the internet. We have a reason from a person saying, I want to have a relationship, so I am going to go out and find myself a girlfriend or boyfriend. So 为了不过光棍节, in order to not spend the single person's day, 我要请假去找对象. I'm gonna ask for some days off to find myself someone.
And that is actually something that some Chinese companies have kind of agreed to be okay with. So in some companies, they'll get the youth organization will organize social events so you can meet other colleagues if it's a big company, other colleagues at the company and date. It sounds really creepy to me. Or you can take some time off to go and find yourself a partner.
Oh, yeah. And also there are other reasons, such as I locked myself inside my apartment. The Chinese firefighters are coming to rescue me, but I am going to take the day off.
Okay, that seems slightly less plausible.
And a very sweet one, it's kind of sweet and a little bit sad, but mostly sweet, is that a girl working with the Chinese railway company said she needs to take some days off because her husband actually work in remote areas and they haven't seen each other for a really long time. And she said, 快忘记老公长啥样了. So I almost forget what my husband looks like and I need to take some days off to see him.
Okay, that's a bit grossly sweet, but it is actually quite sweet.
Yes, so see, if you want to take some days off, you need to be creative and you find yourself a good reason, and don't forget to use 因为 and 所以我要请假. Because of some reason, I need to take some days off.